All right. Welcome back to another weekly edition of the podcast for Bully the Board. It's Kevin, Seth, and Steve again with you as always. So, for the first time, um, I've lost track. 3 weeks since it's been a winning week.
We went 50-50 week 5. So 6-6 was a loss. Big time loss.
The fact that I can't even remember off the top of my head, I think just epitomizes the fact that it feels like it's been fucking forever since we've had a winning week with the model. So, but nonetheless, here we are, baby. After week 7, sitting here, we went 3-2. So it was a first winning week in again what feels like forever
since week 1. First winning week since week 1.
God bless, man. I mean, God bless. So I get. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump into it. So the 3 wins that we had were all the 10 a.m. or 1 p.m. Eastern slotted games. Yeah. So it was like boom, 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 3 in a row right off the start of the week. So Seth, how are you feeling? As those games
relief.
Were
going on, 1 word.
Once we got the 3 wins.
Yeah, 1 word relief. Like
relief.
Yeah, because like the thing is, we've been burned so much that every single one of those games could have fucked us. Like if the Colts don't recover that fumble, or if the Colts don't fumble and the Titans recover, like they score, it would have been they would have lost by 2. We wouldn't have covered. The Browns, they were letting Baltimore drive. They fucking fumble it in the red zone. We recover, huge, and then Cowboys wasn't really covering all of the first half, and then really until the fourth quarter is when the kind of lid came off. But yeah, I mean, I was fully expecting to have it all shit the bed. So once it all happened, it was just relief. That's the only word I have. It's just like, finally things are just bouncing a little bit our way.
I know. Steve, would you concur? What were you? I mean, were you able to watch any of these 3 games?
Yeah, I think the Cowboys were on national television. So I caught that game, and I think I was streaming the Browns game as well. But yeah, no, kind of the same sentiment. I think there was a point with about 3 minutes left, roughly in all the games. It also at around the same time, in and around the same time. It's like, oh shit, we might do this. But yeah, I definitely didn't think that too hard, say anything out loud, because we've had so many bad beats. But it was good to get a guaranteed winning week out the way in the first slate of games.
I know it was fun. We said in our little group chat that we have, like both you, Steve, and I were like, we had something queued up in the text, like, fuck yeah, we swept, and we were waiting to press send, waiting to hit send until like it was for sure, man. Because to your point, man, the bad beats, some of them already have just been scarring emotionally for life. So.
Not only that, I had it not just like queued up. I typed it out, had it queued up, and deleted it. I didn't want to like. I didn't want to even have it in the drafts. That like that's how. Yeah,
you can't prove I put that. You can't prove I thought that.
Whatever helps, man. All the good juju for sure, man. Yeah. So yeah, it was good. It was a good way to definitely start the week off. And then we didn't have anything in the afternoon games, and then the Dolphins game was the Sunday night game, and that one kind of pissed me off, man. Because that was another weird situational coaching decision. Like, not what do? They went for it on fourth down instead of
they didn't kick a field goal.
Yeah, and then they got stuffed, didn't make it, and then from that point on, they scored 16. They scored all their points in the first half, and then
no points were scored in the second half for either team.
Either team, yeah. So had a chance to cover on that one, but. Again, I don't know. Mike McDaniels, man, fins down. I don't know. They won the game, but like, fuck.
Oh no, but fuck him. I text the group. I was like, I hope when he gets home, he turns his car on and has a low tire pressure light on because
check engine light or something.
Yeah, like, I mean, come on, man. This is the NFL. I mean, look, I get being aggressive, but that kick goes up 2 possessions, right? 2 possessions is huge in the NFL. Okay, so I don't understand that decision making at all. Always go up 2 possessions there. You weren't able to do anything up until that point. There was a drop touchdown, so I mean, by Gesicki, but I don't know. I mean, they looked red hot. That first half, I was like, this is going to be like Alabama versus like some bumfuck team. Like they looked insane, and then they couldn't keep it up. But it looked real good, at the beginning. I will say that.
Yeah, and then I have no way to verify this. Yeah, but that going for it on the fourth down and not getting it, that definitely felt like somebody was in his ear. They had the analytics queued up, and they're like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. Our probability of scoring after this is X, and if we, it felt like an analytically driven decision.
I don't know. I disagree because I think they got down there twice pretty efficiently, and then they got there and then they couldn't convert and they had to kick field goals. So I think because when he interviewed on the way out and he said we got to get more points. That's exactly what he said. So I think he was like, okay, we got to do this. Like, we got to get this black monkey off our back. And I think it was like a momentum thing, but I just think from a decision making, 2 possessions is paramount there.
Well, I guess that was at the crux of my point. It's like you can nothing's guaranteed, obviously. Like, you still got to make the field goal, but it feels like the safer, more traditional decision, to kick the field goal, get the 2 possessions, and so whatever. It was frustrating, yeah.
But it did alter that game. I think he'll learn from that, because what ended up happening is they were only winning by 6, and they had the ball. It was like 2. It was right before the 2-minute warning. And it was 3rd down. It's like 3rd and 3. And instead of running it, they gambled and passed it for the first down. It was an incompletion. And then they had to punt it back. If they were winning by 2 possessions, they for sure run it there. And the clock goes down to the 2-minute warning, gives them even less time. And if they convert, the game is over. So I hope he learns his lesson there, because he really could have lost the game based off that, not kicking that. So.
Well, from Fins down to fucking bad news Bears, okay? Because then the Monday night game happened, and I mean this was out of left field, I think, for a lot of people. And Steve and I, we said it, you'll see it, but we said it in our little video. It's like the Bears ruined millions of people's lives and parlays that night. Like, it was just an absolute. I mean, no, it came out of nowhere. So, Steve, what was going through your mind as you were watching that game as the Bears fan?
Bullshit. Absolute bullshit, because this is one of those things where they can't, as a fan, they'll never do this again. But of course, the day we bet against them is when they try to show, which is like the epitome of Bears football. It's just, they're going to fuck you coming and going. No matter what you need from them, they'll do the opposite. It was good to see. I mean, obviously it was bad for us, from the bet standpoint, but it was good to see Fields do something, to have some sort of, show of life. That was reassuring as a Bears fan. But like tonight, really? Like, this is the night you choose the ball out? They had 20
Belichick,
points.
Surprising.
Yeah, they had 20 points at halftime, and that was more than I think any points they've scored, any total points the entire game all year. Like, that's how out of left field this game was. So I don't know.
Yeah, they seem to have a game plan though. They seem to want to be using him a little bit differently than they had. A lot of RPOs.
Which is like no shit, like you're right, but it's like it's like it took you this long to figure it out. Like, hey, we have the worst offensive line in the league. Maybe let's not make Fields a pocket passer. But I'm with you. They did. They had a game plan. They changed things up. They got the ball out of his hands quick. They mobilized him. They moved the pocket, and Fields, he's a stud. Dude can play. He's human though. So
yeah,
and shit, man. There was a glimmer of hope when they switched QBs and Zappy came in, and I'm like, okay,
those 2 drives, I was like, oh shit, we're gonna come back and cover, no problemo.
14 points up, 14-10 all of a sudden. I'm like, all right, maybe this isn't that bad. Then it was just a nosedive from there. Just like, oh my god. So yeah, that wrapped up the 3-2 week. So kind of bittersweet to end on losing notes, but still, again, from 30,000 feet, man, 3-2. We will take that every single week and run. And frankly, if we have on average 5 picks a week, we've been saying this from the start. We can realistically expect to hope and to go 3-2 every week. That's basically 60%. And that's where we set our confidence intervals, and that's how we expect to end the season, or most seasons. This season's TBD still, but.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see. So 3-2, good to move forward. So we're putting our best foot forward and hoping the hoping to stack another winning week. But real quick though, also the future. So also kind of I don't know, wasn't a great week for the
horrible.
futures.
We went 1-4 basically.
Yeah, and futures. Obviously a lot of season left to go still, but the I'll keep saying it until somebody proves me wrong. But the Saints and the Patriots, I don't know, man. Less and less confidence in those ones, but I'm trying to stay as even keeled as possible about the future stuff. Like literally anything can happen week to week that just affects the course of the rest of the season. But I don't know. The Bengals one. What do you guys think? The Bengals one to me is starting to look like, I felt good.
Bengal,
but not so much.
Steve is always like, I love that one. I don't like that one anymore. Now I will say we're right there. The current bet is 9.5. The current bet's 9.5. So we're right there. In fact, you could argue we're value at having 10. So, but they look good. Their defense looks good and their offense looks good. So but they still got to win a shit ton of games from here on out.
Yeah. And we don't have 9.5, we have 10. So if I think getting to 11 wins for them would be an accomplishment.
It's going to be pretty fucking
at
hard
this point. But yeah, that's so. I'm glad we have the 10. But and then the Colts, man, I like that one a lot better now that they. I don't know. Matt Ryan obviously wasn't a world beater, but starting their Sam Ellinger. How do you say his last name?
Yeah, Ellinger from Texas. Wait, but I want to hear Steve on Bengals. What
Oh yeah,
I guess this is your favorite.
It still is. It still is.
Damn.
Dude, here's the thing. Like the front half. These are the games they're supposed to be winning. I really thought they'd go 5-2-6-1 through the first first 7. So for them being 4-3, I feel like I've stolen
ahead of schedule.
Yeah. I think the back end is what's going to happen. I think they got some easy wins. I think they're going to beat up on the Panthers. They got 2 more against the Browns. I think they'll split those. I think the Chiefs now the Bucks may be the surprise. The Bucks actually may just suck this year, so that could be something that freezes out of our moves out of our favor. But between the Ravens, the Bills, the Bucks twice, the Patriots, the Chiefs, I don't see them picking up six more wins. I think it'll be close. Don't get me wrong. I think they finish 8 or 9. I think it'll be a nail biter, but I feel pretty good.
Well, 6 a push, 7 to lose.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So
yeah,
I for sure don't see them getting 7. I for sure don't see them getting 7. 6, maybe, but I think 4 or 5 tops.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry to cut you off, Kevin, but Colts. Good news if you got an under. I think
too. Yeah. I don't know how else to look at it.
Does he come in and just set the world on fire, hook him?
Shit, man, maybe. I don't know, but we're sitting in a pretty good spot with them anyhow already, given how they've performed so far. So it would take nothing short of a pretty spectacular effort the rest of the way, and Sam Ellinger to be the secret sort of Tom Brady in the waiting type of thing. That's going to be. It's gonna be a lot.
So I don't think Tom Brady, but the one thing that he may provide that is a little bit scary to me is like Matt Ryan's just dying in the pocket. He's getting killed. Yeah. He's getting murdered. But at least he can.
Runs, huh?
I don't know that he runs, but he can actually walk more than Matt Ryan.
He can escape some pressure.
Yeah, exactly. He can try to scramble and make a play, right, and then make some magic, so to speak. Whereas Matt Ryan just cannot do that. So I wonder if that's what's driving that decision making, because this dude is just getting murdered. But the thing is, if you don't fix the offensive line, I think that I don't think you're alleviate the problem. Yeah. And then of course, Panthers.
Yeah,
upset Tampa Bay.
Yeah, to Steve's point though, maybe I think we have to start coming to the realization that the Bucks are just not as good as we thought they were.
But their defense is really good. That's the problem. Their defense is really good. Now I don't know. I know that they have some injuries this week, and so I don't know how injured they were last week.
They're down a few starters. Yeah, I saw that news coming out. But
Carolina is the worst offense in the league.
I know,
and they've got PJ Tucker and no CMC and no Robbie Anderson. It's
I know.
God damn.
What was the score of that game? It was
I think it was 21-3
to 3. So if you to your point, Seth, you have a good defense. 21 points is respectable if you to an average offense.
To an average offense.
To the worst.
And not only the worst, but with like the backups starting like the whole game.
Yeah. So I guess my point being, like, I think you have to. Maybe their defense has more cracks in it than we've been led on to believe. Who knows?
Yeah, we were.
So
I think
that
one
one
week,
was
statistically,
parlay
they
ruiner,
they may be statistically good, but something stinks there, man. I mean, the offense, and you say, maybe because the offense isn't playing well, the defense is on the field more, they're getting tired out. But I don't know, man. 21 points. If you're in a league defense, 21 points to the Panthers. I mean, Jesus, So, and I'm pretty sure. No, I think they put up more points against, I think, the Saints and then the Browns. But I don't know, man. But yeah, maybe they just suck, and maybe PJ Walker's the GOAT. Maybe that's one thing. The angle we're not taking.
1 week too late, right?
Yeah, man. He's about.
We had them the week before.
He's gonna earn himself a bag, man. Probably. So good for him.
Well, they're actually throwing it down the field in that game. Like the game we had him the week before, I think his longest pass was 1 yard or something like this. They were just like throwing slants. Like, oh man, it's crazy.
So we'll see. Week 7, we're almost we're getting close to
dead. Saints look dead.
Saints look dead. It doesn't matter. Jameis, Andy. I mean, they're starting Andy again, from what I read this week. Yeah, which. Probably, I don't know if it doesn't seem like a great strategic move. I mean, he has not been efficient. So yeah, they look dead. I felt really good about this one going into the season, but I just almost feels dead on arrival now.
With all of those receivers, I mean, I know 2 weeks ago they didn't have one of them. They were all out, but I mean, Olave had I
think Michael Thomas has played like 2 games maybe this year.
Yeah. Jarvis Landry's been out.
The rookie's been good, Olave, but I mean, it's not good enough, man. So we'll see. But again, a lot can happen. Give it a couple weeks. The tide could change, for sure. So
yeah, I mean that's too, baby. Because who saw Jameis going down for essentially the whole season so far, right? I mean that's kind of tough, but that's football.
That's fair. So that's fair. Yeah. All right, so quick update then on where we stand on the Circa contest here. So if you caught us last week or watched the podcast last week, at the end of it we talked about basically changing up our strategy a little bit given our less than stellar record in Circa so far. So Steve, where are we at and where things stand with the Circa stuff?
Yeah, so to fill guys in, so we we had that horrible week 6, went 0-5 unintentionally, and we have to go back to the drawing board there.
Got to throw it in there. We didn't mean to do it, it just happened.
It just happened. You blink and it's over. So we went. So we dropped obviously in the standings pretty significantly. We weren't. It's been kind of a free fall from week 1, for being honest. And these guys these guys and gals are sharps, right? And so if you're batting anything less than 60%, you're not going to be in the top 10 or 20%, which is really tough to do. So with that being said, though, look at the standings, realize we're close to the top of the bottom. We're much closer to last place. And so overall, last place gets $100,000, and then they do quarterly prizes for quarter standings. So we're in quarter 2, and last place for the quarter brackets get $25,000. So we heard it all. You spoke, we listened, and we said, hey, let's fade the model. And so that's what we ended up doing last week. And so we ended up going 2-3, which because we were in 3-2 in real life, so 2-3 for the model, which is good. We're trying to lose. So we were tied for 71st last week. We actually ended up dropping down 1 spot. We're tied for 72nd, but we're only 3.5 points out of first place. So every win is a point, and every push is half a point. So if we have a strong week 8, we really could be back in the running for the quarter standings, and then definitely will put us back in a prime position for the season-long standing. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Went 2-3, and let's hit that bottom, baby.
Let's bottom out. Let's do it. Yeah, it'll be interesting. So that kind of segues into this week because there's only 4 picks on the card for week 8, and we have to choose 5 for the Circa picks. So we'll be kind of just talking internally about which one we want to. Which one? The 5th one that we want to play for Circa. But Looking ahead to week 8, the week 8 predictions for what the model had here. So there's, as you notice, and you'll see on the social media too, several caveats, footnotes with this week's card. So Seth, high level, why don't you can you walk us through what's going
pretty
on there, why
straightforward.
so much? Yeah, why? Go ahead.
Pretty straightforward. So PJ, so we model starting quarterback and we take that into account into the model. And so this there's some question about who may have started for Carolina. So it looks like it's been confirmed that PJ Walker is going to start. So just want to put that here just in case that changes for whatever reason. But it looks like they're going with PJ Walker from here on out. So as long as that happens, no change there. Then the other thing is Eagles at -10. The model says we have to get it at 10. Right now, it's technically at 10 and a half, so 10 and a hook. So just keep an eye out. I was able to get it earlier today. This is Wednesday at 10 at -110 consensus. So you just got to keep an eye on it, but it's important to get it at 10 and not 10 and a half. And then same with Bears. The model is saying we have to get it at 12 and a half. But it's important that you don't pay anything more than -150. And so I was able to snag that as well today. But I would keep an eye on it, especially with the trade. There was a Bears trade. I don't know if that'll affect the betting. But
yeah, so a lot of places that I've seen it. I don't know where it opened exactly, but I've seen it at 10 or even 9.5 in a couple places. So if it's at 9.5, you'll probably be hard pressed to buy 3 points at -150 or for less than 50 cents basically. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that one. But to Seth's point, I'm sure you can grab it now probably in a couple places. But this is also one for some that that will probably be quite attainable in my opinion live at pretty maybe more favorable odds. So if you want to roll the dice there, I guess that's a potential option. So, Steve, anything though that jumps out this week for you on the for these 4 plays that we got?
I love the Eagles. I know we were talking about this beforehand, about what our favorite and least favorite picks are of the week, but love the Eagles. I think they're rolling high. Steelers are still trying to figure this thing out. I mean, I know he had all the magic in college, but Pickett's still a rookie. Excuse me. He's playing like it. And this Eagles defense, like Seth mentioned, they just picked up Robert Quinn from Chicago. It's only going to bolster that strong defensive unit. I think they're going to make Pickett run for his life all day. I know double digits are tough in the NFL, but I do love that bet. I think it's going to be a blowout. I know the Bears showed out, but I think they're going to get absolutely dog walked. I mean, if you gave me like 26.5, maybe, but the Bears, as a Bears fan, man, that's what they do, man. They set you up, give you a little bit of hope, and they break your heart. I'm not gonna lie, so we always say we don't bet with emotions, right? We bet the model, come hell or high water. I'm torn as Lions pick. Emotionally, I hate this pick. This stinks to high hell to me. But logically, I actually don't think it's this bad. I think the line's 3.5 for a good reason. We saw Miami struggle. They came off the gate guns a-blazing, then they struggled in the second half to put up points. I could see the Lions getting some pieces back with Swift and St. Brown and be able to do a shoot. The defense won't be able to stop anything, but I think their offense could get in the shootout, and I can see a field goal game being the case here, a la the Lions-Eagles game. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that one. When we first saw it, I was like, "Fuck, that looks like I hate that one." But yeah, settling down a little bit, thinking through it some more.
So why don't we bring that card up and let's break down some of the statistics here.
Yeah, why not? So Lions and Dolphins, again, the consensus right now is about 3.5. So I don't know. Depending on how you look at this, again, the Lions can't stop anybody on defense.
Yeah.
Like the worst defense in the league right now. But they've been without, to Steve's point, they've been without Swift for a few games. St. Brown was essentially out for all of last game too, so they were missing some key pieces. And in the first couple of weeks of the season, like they were slanging it, they were putting up points. So I think there's a relative. It's plausible you can imagine them getting back to form here. So, but yeah, what jumps out to you guys in terms of the on paper matchup between these two?
That neither of them can really stop teams. It's interesting that obviously the Lions are the 32nd team, but they've been in a number of shootouts, all Seattle. If you want to call Vikings kind of a shootout, they was shootout with Philly. Right. If you think about first game, healthy
38-35.
Yeah. So this one is, I guess, a little gross, but from what we've seen with Miami, they really like have one or two big plays, and that like defines their game, but they don't seem to have run away with the game yet.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think this is one of the ones again. This graphic, on the right hand side with a negative 14.4% total DVOA to Miami's 2.6.
Yeah, so
this is my gut reaction of like, oh, this stinks, right? But then you kind of break this down. You look at what the end results are. Are the Dolphins better than the Eagles? I don't think so. The Lions have a 3-point game. Now, fair is fair, right? They got shut out and blown out by the Patriots, who aren't also as good as the Eagles. So it goes both ways. But yeah, to your point, Seth, they're capable of scoring points. Their Achilles heel is the defense. And so if they can score enough points and get into a shootout and then have, like I said, 38-35 game against the Eagles, the hook gets you there and the cover. So I think they're capable of doing it. I think it's not going to be close I think it's going to either be cool, comfortable, you're probably going to cover, you're going to cover for most of the game, or it's going to be a blowout from the get-go. And we'll see.
And like emotionally, you've already, they were asking the questions this week already, like, oh, is Dan Campbell the right guy? And you heard I think the GM and a couple of people come out saying, yeah, we support him, we think he's the right guy, and kind of the media's on that train too. So point being, I think they're going to be, well, they are desperate, and they're going to, I think, play that way. And especially if everyone's behind Dan Campbell, like they claim to be, then hopefully you'll see that effort, on display a little bit. Because if he has lost the locker room or whatever, if he just isn't the guy and all his messages are falling flat, with the boys in the locker room, then maybe they just get eaten up here. But I don't read the room that way.
I would totally agree. I don't think that's the case at all. I think they were in that game until they weren't, with Dallas, which is one of the best defenses in the league. They didn't have Swift. St. Brown went out like the first or second offensive play with a concussion. So you get him back. That game looks different, I think. And I think if you get Swift back, I think this is just another one of these shootouts they get into. And Miami hasn't stopped Indy. They were letting Kenny Pickett run down the field. So I don't know. Miami's, I don't want to call them fraudulent because they're not, but if we can kind of dissect these statistics a little bit further, the positive EPA from pass. Well, how much of that comes from coming back in that fourth quarter against the Ravens? Ever since then, have they actually done anything crazy?
They look good for a half, like you said last week.
Not even a half, a quarter.
Yeah,
Baltimore, right? Tua went down, and in the Bengals game, the Bengals end up pulling that out. They were in most of the Jets game until they weren't, and that was obviously with a backup. But I don't know that we actually know who Miami is, and if you're looking at the outcomes of their games, I just think this is going to be a shootout, and I could easily see Detroit doing what they usually do, where they lose by 2 points or something, or 1 point.
Yeah. So we'll see. Lions plus 3.5 on this one. So fins down. Let's hope. All right, next one up. Falcons at the Panthers. So yeah, this one, the darling ATS Falcons. They ruined everyone's streak, or who was trying to ride that trend last week. Finally lost a game against the spread, but for the first time all year, they are a favorite, and I think understandably so, given the opponent. But neither of these teams, man, are very good at anything, frankly. So
disagree. Atlanta can run the ball very well, very well. Look, you can see a positive EPA there.
Yeah, I see that, but you think, I mean, in a vacuum, they can run the ball, but has that what does that actually translated to? There's still
6-1 covers. What do you mean?
Okay, fine. If that's your metric, then you're right. Then they run the ball well and they're great. But like,
aren't they 4-2?
No, they're 3-4, I think.
Oh, okay. I guess they got who have they beaten? Have they really beaten? They beat Browns. They beat Seattle.
Yeah, I have to pull it up real quick. I don't remember off the top of my head.
So they beat the Browns. They beat the 49ers. That was kind of the shocking one.
Oh
yeah, and then they beat the Seahawks.
Yeah, so I guess my point being, if they're good at anything, they're good at covering. Damn it! So I guess let's hope that trend at least continues.
Yeah.
So,
Well, but is that a positive EPA for the pass for the Falcons?
Yeah, you're right. So I read that wrong.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh yeah, good eye.
No, and I don't. I mean, they do, and then sorry, not calling you out. I do think they do something well, but it's hard to. I don't know, man. When I watch these games, it's hard to. Atlanta comes back and they throw the ball and they get these nail biters and they're always playing from behind and they make it just close enough. You believe in them a little bit, and then that's been kind of the secret sauce, at least from what I've seen in a couple of games I've watched. I know start to finish, but I don't know, man. This one again, my brain tells me yes, Atlanta should be the better team. They do have the better pieces. Now, have they put it together? I haven't seen much out of Drake London. I haven't seen much out of Kyle Pitts. Right. Mariota, I think is okay. I don't think he's been great, but I think he's been okay. But I would love this as a -3 game. This to me is a coin flip game emotionally. But again, trying to think about it logically, I can see the edge going to Atlanta.
Yeah, and the question really is PJ Tucker. We tailed 2 games and very different two different tails. So what is the game plan going to be? How does that manifest? And now that's 2 games on tape. So does Atlanta prepare for him? And I mean, is PJ Tucker or PJ Walker ain't PJ Tucker or PJ Walker ain't Joe Burrow, right? It's not like it's going to come as easy and he's going to be able to throw all over Atlanta. At least I don't see that happening. We haven't seen that from him yet. And now that they've gotten rid of a lot of key pieces, I don't know. I'm actually liking this one more and more. We were talking before. I actually like this one now.
Yeah, I know. I locked it. I played it already too, but at least in a couple places, I've seen it move to and it's even up here -4. As I think it opened.
Yeah, I got it at 4 as well. Yeah,
you did get it at 4. Okay, that's
yeah.
Cool. So yeah, pretty interesting because at least at the moment it's still early in the week again, but a lot of the money is coming in on the Falcons to cover -4. So.
I think you're going to see that switch. I could be completely wrong, but I think what you're going to see is 2 things, right? You're going to see this emotional, view of, hey, these guys rallied without CMC, they rallied without Baker, they rallied without their head coach and Matt Rule. Like all these, like this is literally the movie The Replacements, right? Like they coming through and like all these backups, and then they're going to be the Cinderella story. Now, is that going to be true? Yeah, can they win a game here or there? Sure, but I think they're going to come crashing down to the earth. But I would not be surprised against a mediocre opponent in Atlanta, relatively, to the whole league. A mediocre opponent in Atlanta, Carolina coming off that, Goliath slaying victory over Tampa Bay. I can see this thing moving closer to Sunday. So, I mean, I'm still locked in at 4, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gets down to a 3.
Really? Okay.
But that's not bully the board advice. That's Steve the degenerate gambler.
No. Yeah, it wouldn't matter. I mean, if we like it at 4, we love it at 3, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, Kevin, give me a bold prediction for this game. Whether it's Carolina or it's Atlanta.
Yeah, bold prediction. I think this is going to be the chunky chubba the chunky chubba. Fuck, what did Steve say the other day? Chunky chubba chode.
Really? Okay, you think he has a big game?
I think it's gonna be pretty heavily. I ground and pound. But I do think of the running backs, of the featured guys, quote unquote. He's put up some good performances, or he's been capable of it. I think you're going to see him go pretty wild. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the Falcons come out on top in this one. I think they're going to get run over, and then the Falcons are going to have to play from behind, which is not their strength. Then,
or is that what they've been doing all season?
I disagree. I think that same exact script, Kev, but I think the Falcons
just the opposite way,
a lot better from behind. I think they play better from behind. I can see this
cover from behind.
Yeah, no, I know what I see. Honestly, I see this game being a kind of messy, dirty dogfight. Carolina is up by 3 late, and then Falcons score a game-winning touchdown, win by 4, and we push or lose. That's my bold prediction. That Falcons by 4. Exactly.
So, all right.
Get him in before you get to 4.5.
Yeah. I'm going completely opposite. I think Marcus Mariota goes off. I think he has 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown.
Okay. I like it.
I think he goes ham. I think
rushing. You said 2 rushing.
2 rushing. Yep, 2 rushing and 1 passing. Yeah. Or inverse of that, but I think Mariota goes off here. I think I just think that this is going to be if let's take it back 2 weeks, and we don't have to go very far. Let's go back to LA versus Carolina. Very, very, very struggling offense in LA did work offensively. They couldn't stop anybody. Yes, they have this anomaly game, but what are we really expecting out of this team? I mean, we got under 6.5 games. Vegas right now, if you want to bet it, it's at 5, even after they beat Tampa Bay. So what are we really saying? Because in order for Atlanta to cover, they got to win. So we're saying Atlanta's going to win here. And I don't know. I don't think PJ Tucker, he's flying by the seat of his pants, and that's cool. But at some point, you're going to run into a wall.
We got to get PJ Tucker on this podcast.
Just
PJ Walker. What's his name is like Percy, I think, or something like this. It's not even. He has like a real name.
Percy Jackson, maybe.
Here, I'll look. I saw it yesterday.
Philip Walker.
Philip, there you go.
Philip. Oh wow.
So I'm just gonna call him Philip, okay? And we ain't talking Rivers, all right? Bold predictions. Oh, I gotta go pro prediction. This Philip is gonna throw as many INTs as the other Philip Rivers back in the old days. At least 1 INT for Philip Walker.
All right, I like it.
All right. Shout out.
3 tuds. 3 tuds for Mariota.
Okay, baby. Moving on. I think this is going to be. This isn't. We don't have any primetime games on the card, I believe. So this is going to be a early game. But interstate battle here. So Philly at Pittsburgh. I think Steve, you mentioned at the start you felt the most comfortable with this one. This one you jumped out to as like being. This makes a lot of sense on paper, and you just feel great about it, right?
Oh, I love it. I've been waiting to bet on the Eagles, as a model bet all year long. I like this. I think this is going to be. They're going to run to the buzzsaw. It's what I want to say. I think Eagles right now, they very clearly are contenders. They can be better, and they realize that. I think that's why you see some things like them going out and getting Robert Quinn. Jalen Hurts is still learning and improving, which is a scary thought. But I see this more so not necessarily Hurts being that dominant and just, light up the scoreboards per se, but the Eagles' defense against the Steelers being absolutely just a game changer. And then just you're going to get a great field advantage all game. I think Pickett's going to be good overall, but not this week. I think they're gonna make him see ghosts. They're going to rush him. Najee Harris has done next to nothing all year from a truly productive standpoint. I think last week's one of his best games. It still wasn't much from there. So I don't see anything right offensively going right for the Steelers. And I think once you get down to the 3rd and 4th quarter, defense is going to get worn out, and Philly blows this thing wide open.
Hey, just a quick side note. I think this Football Outsiders graphic has the home and away teams backwards because it's Philly who's home, and it's Atlanta who's home, and I'm going to assume it's Detroit who's home.
Well, it says at. It didn't say at Dolphins.
No, but it's in Detroit. That's my point. It's in Detroit. This one's in Atlanta, and this one's in Philly.
Yeah, don't ask me, man.
Yeah. All right.
Andrew Schultz. Mr. Schatz.
I'm just confirming because I got confused for a second. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, this is in Philly.
This is in Philly.
Go Birds, baby.
Go Birds. Fucking classic. Yeah, no, I'm kind of Steve. I don't know, man. I think it's hard to dispute much, if any of that. I mean, really, if there's any team this season who is maybe surprising, but also like has been as consistent as you would hope to be in this league, it's been the Eagles. You know, they had if you want to call it a scare,
well, second to Bills, but yeah,
second to sure, that's fair. But you know,
it's not that record.
If you want to call Week 1 a scare, I mean, it was a close game with the Lions, and even against the Cardinals, it was a 3-point game. But like, still, you're not going to blow out every team, obviously. But yeah, they've been very impressive, and I know even at the start of the season, we have a future for them for the Super Bowl, which has got to be. Do you know what the odds are now, Seth? If you
yeah, well, I can look. It was plus like 600, I think. We got it at plus 3,000.
At 3,000, let's go. Yeah. So, do they still offer you cash outs every week on that, or do they?
Oh yeah, it stays cashing out. It's a game.
They want
in the game. Yeah, they want me out. They want me out.
Wow. Damn.
The odds are plus 550.
Okay, let's go. So yeah, we're talking crazy value here. So yeah, I mean, they're making moves. They just acquired Robert Quinn from the Bears, which is not for nothing, man. I mean, you give up what do they give up, a 4th rounder for him, or
yeah?
What do they give up?
It's so stupid. Yeah, 4th rounder.
Yeah. You can just feel it. You can feel it coming through the screen. You're jazzed about it. But yeah, I would be surprised if there was much resistance put up from Kenny Pickett and the Steelers on this one, man. Yeah, this isn't even a bold prediction, but I think 2 picks is very much a possibility coming off his hands into that defense. So this one, I hope is chalk, man. This one.
Yeah. Now, what about you, Seth? Because I know you really don't like these double digit.
Yeah. That's what I was just looking up. Pitt's pass defense at their number 15, and they're a little bit better at rush defense. But I am with you guys here. I mean, if you're gonna take double digit dogs or double digit favorites, these got to be elite either on one end or both ends, and preferably both, right? And I think that's what we're going to see. And then you combine that with a rookie quarterback. What, 3 games, 2 games? If PJ Walker is going to have a tough time, then Kenny Pickett here. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Maybe a true welcome to the NFL type of game for him. Just getting absolutely rocked.
I mean, Miami can't do much from a pressure standpoint, and I'm not saying he was running for his life, but I mean, he was doing okay. Just enough for him to think he knows what he's doing, and then be like, "Oh shit!" I mean, you can hate on Kirk Cousins if you want, primetime Kirk, but Kirk Cousins struggled. I mean, we've seen some elite quarterback struggle, and combine that, the biggest test we've seen so far, in my opinion, is Philly's offense go against Dallas's defense, which is a good defense, and they did their damn thing, man. So. What do we expect the Steelers to do here with no TJ Watt? I mean, they're even missing some of the pieces here that could help.
Right.
What are we really expecting now? 10 is tough, and this bet. If you're up 30, you can get backdoored. So if you're paranoid, which we are, this is going to be a rough one. But yeah, I mean, you got to like it. Now, I also like that the model is saying to get it at 10. Because you guys know how I feel about pushes.
Yep.
So and with crazy shit that'll happen at ends of games when teams are trying to get points and score to get the ball back, you can get just screwed so many ways. But yeah, I think Pickett 1 touchdown or 1 interception. We don't have a model for that, but that feels strong. But
that's gotta be like minus 200. I swear.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm curious.
Now this is I haven't heard you guys talk about it, or maybe I wasn't listening close enough, but this is also Eagles off a bye.
Mm-hmm.
This is
So
Eagles off a bye.
Right.
Yeah, so
so
they're healthy. I mean, yeah, this is
more
it's not
healthy,
setting up well.
more game plan. So what are they going to do? What have we not seen from them that they're going to try to implement that is new? And also, Steelers, I wouldn't call it but they had to play the late game, right? So they got that, and it was in Miami.
Yep.
Now they got to come over to Philadelphia. So I like this one. I like also that the public is like 10 points. This classic narrative, like 10 points is just too many. You can't. And
I know
until you can, right? I hear this narrative all the time, 10 points, but legitimately almost every single week a team wins by 10. If not multiple teams. Yeah. So why not us?
Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Let's go.
I'm really surprised by that positive EPA for Jalen Hurts throwing. I'm really surprised, dude, because I haven't really observed them to be this crazy passing offense. But
when they do, they're efficient.
Yeah, I mean AJ Brown, they got Devontae Smith, Roll Tide. Yeah,
that's true. That I wouldn't say. No, I don't think anyone will argue that's their strength per se. I mean, their strength is him running the ball, and but yeah,
their strength is the whole team apparently. So
when they're doing it well. That's for sure.
Yeah, this could get ugly.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Pains me. How many times have we had a Bears game? Feels like several.
Three.
And we've covered 4. We covered one.
This is the fourth.
This one, they played Houston. We bet on New England, and we bet them to beat the Redskins or whatever, the football team or the Commanders or whatever they're called.
Okay, so 1 for 3 so far. Bad news.
Well, does it count? We bet against them for New England. Does that count for them?
I see what you're saying. Yes, games involving the Bears. The Bears have, in some way, shape, or form, fucked us.
I guess you're right, because we are modeling what they're doing on the other end, so that's fair.
No. Remember we had them for the Packers, right? So we covered with Bears with Texans.
Oh, damn, yeah, 5. Holy. Right. So 2. Yeah. So 2 and 5. So hey, this is it right here, guys. We win this game. We're profitable with the Bears.
Listen,
why does it not feel that way? Why does it not feel? Maybe recently
because that Washington game was the most painful thing that's ever been seen by man.
Bayless Jones Jr.
You those back to back. How you watch them run all over one of the best defenses. They couldn't score from the 1 yard line.
Yeah, it was
out of here.
Three times within the 5 yard line, 0 points.
That's why it feels like that. At least that's in my mind.
That's the Bears, baby.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, but I don't know why I was trying to bring up that trauma for everybody. I'm sorry, but
it's a good point because if they win this game, we'd be 3-2.
Yeah, which is bonkers.
Steve. This is all in the plan to actually make your fandom even stronger.
No, listen. Yeah, no, dude. But Chicago might as well be Gotham City, and it's gonna turn me into the Joker, man. Like I am going absolutely insane trying to follow this team. It's just, and that's one thing. Like I know they're gonna lose, and it's okay because you prep for that. But this whole spread bullshit, and like they're not them just losing the game, but then not covering. That's just
And 12.5 is it's a ride.
When you talk about double digit spreads, I mean, what were they? What were they last week against New England? 6.5
8.
Or 8?
8. Yep.
8. Yeah, I think it closed at 9.
That felt like a lot. I mean, but I mean, this is I think clearly recency bias talking. But when I see 9 like consensus, but then 12.5 even from the model, I'm thinking like that's not enough. We need more. You need more, maybe. So I don't feel great about this one at all. I think Dak getting another week under his belt after being out for several weeks. He's just going to continue to, refine that machine. Zeke might be out on Dallas, but he's been okay. I don't think he's even been their most efficient running back.
Yeah.
So
if Pollard gets more touches, that could even be better for the Cowboys and AKA worse. For the Bears.
Honestly, there's still a huge question mark for Dallas. Who are they? Because they did not look very offensively great week 1 with Dak before he got hurt. And we've had Cooper Rush, and it's not like Cooper Rush. Is Cooper Rush so bad and so much worse than Dak? I don't know. Now I'm not saying Dak should start, but I'm just saying when they got rid of Amari Cooper, I mean they made changes, and that offense is not the same as they were last year. So I don't know.
Correct.
This is a little bit of potentially overhype on the Cowboys, and a perfect spot for us for the Bears. If they're going to try to run this RPO, what does that do? It eats clock, and that it becomes harder to blow
to win by 2. Yeah. I mean, on the flip, I mean, if you got to hope the game script sort of goes your way like it did against New England, where you get up a score or 2 and then you can kind of do your thing, But if that was flipped for whatever reason, I think game script will obviously determine what happens, how much they run. But yeah, both teams are sitting here with less than stellar efficiency running the ball and passing the ball. So yeah, I don't think this is going to be a shootout by any stretch. So yeah, maybe you're right, Seth. Maybe it is if Chicago can be on the right side and just get Fields out and run him a little more, man. Yeah, I think it might be good.
Yeah, I mean, and
no,
Dallas was in that game. Or sorry, I was just one last point. Yeah. Detroit was in that game until there was 2 turnovers on defense. So it wasn't the offense that bailed them out.
Well, and that leads right to my point. So I think 2 things. One, I like this bet 12.5 a lot better if this matchup happened last week in Dak's first week. I think you saw a lot of rust with Dak getting his grip back and whatnot. And yeah, he looked okay. He didn't look terrible. He didn't look great. I think he gets a little bit more in form this week. But yes, to your point there, this is a different team for sure. Yeah. We got to see what his offense does. My concern, though, is that this is going to be it's Dallas's defense that's going to destroy Chicago. That's my fear because one, again, the offensive line is absolute Swiss cheese in Chicago. And so if you get any sort of pressure on Fields that's not a designed pocket shifter, he's going down. I mean, Fields gets hit so many times.
But they ran that RPO last week. That was their answer. Their answer is we're going to make you think. We're going to make you can't just bum rush us and Swiss cheese us. But here's the problem. Here's the problem with Chicago. It's a problem. And I don't want to call Luke Getsy our OC, but here's the problem with the play call in Chicago. It's always experiment. It's like, okay, that worked. Cool. Let's put it in our back pocket. Let's try this now. Versus like, no, stick to the freaking plan. Like we saw something that worked. And I can't tell you how many times we've seen this. Now, this is a new regime. And now you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, right? However, as a Bears fan, we've seen this story time and time again. I wouldn't be surprised if Chicago gets down by anything more than 7 points. You're going to see a complete abandonment of what you saw against New England. And that's going to feed right into Dallas. Now, that's my prediction as Steve, the Bears fan, who's chronically depressed from September to February. And maybe I'm wrong. That's 100% emotion, but we'll see.
Yeah. And then one more thing for me. I forget if I said this at the start or not, but I haven't played this yet, and I guess we're gonna say roll the dice a little bit, but I'm gonna try to take this live. I think it'll be a good opportunity in game as opposed to
you basically think you want to save loss. That's your hedging against loss.
Yes, I am.
If you think it's going to win, you'll miss out. You won't be able to get it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. No, that's all good. Yeah. But that's basically the only way.
Yeah, because you got it like minus 147 or something.
148. Yeah, 148 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I'm not. This is a scary pick, no doubt about it. This one makes me a little, nervous, but I just don't think we've actually seen. I think what's actually happening right now, we're taking the offense from last year, and we're saying, okay, that's what we're going to expect now, and this defense is just as good as they were last year, and they've shown us that. But I don't think that first assumption is fair to make, and I don't think that we're going to see the same offense. We don't have a reason to believe that. So I
agree. I completely agree with you about the offense. I completely agree. I do not think this is the same offense, and if it is, we're not going to see it this week. I think just like we talked about the Eagles game, my fear, like to my bones, is that the defense is going to play just well enough to get them in the hole, and then once Chicago's not built to come back from games. That's my fear. So once they have to start playing from behind more than a score, then just they panic. They panic and they abandon ship, and that's when it snowballs. And we see that all the time across the league. Now, I did not see the Bears scoring 33 points against the Patriots. I could live to 300. I would have never predicted that happening.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I'm right. That's going to happen, but that's my fear.
But this is more what I'm describing. You have the Lions Cowboys first quarter 3-0 Lions, second quarter 3-3. So they both score a field goal, and then the third quarter Cowboys finally score a touchdown. But then the 2 touchdowns happened in the fourth, which were mostly defensive turnovers, if I'm not mistaken. Right, it was a fumble and an interception. The Lions are the worst defense in the league. So we're not seeing some barn burner like crazy.
Agreed. Right
now, their defense is really good. So if we can just get 1 or 2 touchdowns here, I think that might be enough to cover a 12.5 point spread. But
crazier things have happened, that's for sure. All right, so just one more look at it. Relatively easy, straightforward card this week. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think there wasn't any. And just to recap for everyone, actually switching gears one sec too. And to the extent that anyone has mentioned it, except maybe someone has picked up on it, you've talked about it in lives too. But these are all 1 year model plays now. We're not incorporating the 4-year methodology anymore. But so to the extent that anyone ever
and actually the funny thing is we made that decision going into week 7, and the model had the 4-year had New England, Tennessee, Miami, and that was from the 1 year, and 2 that went 1 and 2, and then the 4-year for this year this week picks Atlanta. So even though we're not doing the 4-year or we are because we have for the last 2 weeks. But to your point, yes, and we're not looking at it. We're not looking to bet, even if it would have produced other things. It just so happens when we made that decision, that's how the last 2 has panned out there. So interesting. So Kevin, what is your prediction for what do you think the record's going to be this week?
Yeah, I think I would be shocked if we went undefeated. I would be shocked if we went 0 for 4. Honestly, I very much feel like a 2-2 is in the cards here. Which ones? If you're going to make me pick, I think Eagles win, and I think the Falcons win. But beyond that, yeah, the other 2, the Bears and the Lions, I don't know. I can't say for certain what it is bother me in my gut about it, but maybe it's the 3 fucking asterisks on the Bears. I don't know. It just bothers me.
That's for all the touchdowns Justin Fields is going to get. Maybe. How about you, Steve?
Maybe.
I think of the ones right now that we can get as of today, naturally without buying the points per se. I think we can go. I think 2-0-1. I like the line. I'm coming around to the Lions. I really am. I'm coming around to that Lions pick. I like the Eagles, and then I could see the Falcons, reverse backdooring, so to speak. Backdooring for the game, but maybe for the tie in the cover. The Bears, if we can get that 12.5, I
got it today, so it was. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, 12.5 at like the natural line -110.
Oh,
yes,
-110.
you're right. You can anything -150. It's a play. Yes, you're absolutely right. If that line actually moved to 12.5, just because out of consensus, yeah,
it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So I can see that. I can see. I wouldn't be surprised. I can see 2-1-1.
2-1-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think a push is very plausible this week. What do you think, Seth?
I've seen the future. We're going 4-0, baby. I'm locking in the parlay. I'm locking it in.
Oh, love it.
Yep. I'm locking it in 4-0. Yeah, no, I think that these are my thesis. I think it's a shootout with Miami. Miami, whoever has the ball last kicks the field goal win. 3.5, that's a cover. Falcons, I think Mariota goes ham. I think this is where we see Carolina die the death that we've been kind of going like, what's going on? But this is where they die. This is where we see like, oh yeah, they're horrible, and that's why the Vegas is only giving them credit for 3 more wins. 3 more wins. They already have 2, right? And I think this is where you say, shit, the Eagles are really, really good off a bye, and they made trades. They're just as aggressive as LA was last year. They're trying. They're going for a Super Bowl, and they are going to take this out on Kenny Pickett. And Kenny Pickett is only going to throw pickets. And I think the Bears, I think it's more just Dallas is not the same offense. I don't think that they score 28 points. I don't. I think this is a 10 to 21 game.
Well, I want to see that. I want to see that parlay ticket. Then I want to see. I want to see that green slip.
I'll make it. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, baby. I'll see it. I'll show it. I'll show you whenever you want to see it.
Okay.
I haven't made it yet, but I'll make it today. Because I also got to put in Mariota 3 touchdowns.
All right. Might as well add that. Same game.
Yeah, I'm gonna add that.
Yeah. We'll see the odds on that bad boy. Yeah. Oh man. All right, boys and girls. I think that'll do it for us. Another week in the book. So looking forward to the week 8 coming up. We'll be back here about same time, same place next week. So until then, best of luck. Peace out.
Yep. Good luck, everybody.